Your buddy Peace and Harmony here with you today. Pattern interrupt is a way of handling and dealing with the psychopath or the narcissist in your life. A pattern interrupt is a behavior and a thought pattern that disrupts the usual pattern of conversation that you are engaging in with a narcissist or a psychopath. When we engage in communication with them, generally there's a habitual or expected reaction, behavior, gesture that is pre-programmed into a typical discussion or conversation with somebody. In other words, a question is going to be expecting an answer. A request is going to a reply. There's going to be expected give and take within that sort of communication. The pattern interrupt is exhibited when you intentionally disrupt that pattern of communication within that situation so that you're able to derail the emotion or the direction. You're able to reroute the direction of the conversation so that you're no longer being manipulated, you're no longer falling into the hands of the predator, in this situation the psychopath or the narcissist, who's seeking to manipulate you, get something from you, get you to respond in something that you don't want to participate in, or get you kind of up against a wall, painted in a corner, feeling uncomfortable. A pattern interrupt can be a different gesture or a statement other than what is anticipated. So, for example, would you like to go to the movies? That is a question. Usually you're anticipating a yes or no answer, or maybe, or I need to think about it, or let's plan that, or what do we need to do, or what do you want to see? So usually that is the anticipated sort of response or comeback that one would anticipate. A pattern interrupt is where you break that pattern of thought and you are then derail it, and then you take power back in yourself for the conversation. So you're no longer just responding to them, you're no longer just reacting to them, you're coming from a whole new angle, which is what you want to do, because it's going to help you regain and restore your personal power. And that is absolutely positively what you want to do, because you've fallen prey to this person, this individual, this disordered person, this psychopath, the narcissist, the swindler, the con person for too long, and you've exposed them. You don't want to continue to. You need to do something now. You need to start living in the solution. You need to actually start putting this into gear. You got to start putting this into motion. And it's like, well, what do I do? So a pattern interrupt will be able to give you a new angle and a new position for dealing with them. A pattern interrupt can be a statement that is contrary or of a whole different conversation that would then disrupt the pattern. For example, would you like to go to the would you like to go to the movies? And instead of the typical response, you might pat them on the shoulder, good to see you, and then walk away. I mean, a pattern interrupt is where you come at them with a different, almost like you're an alien, or it's just not expected. If it feels like you're being strange, then you're doing the right thing. A pattern interrupt is able to kind of confuse them, and with a psychopath or the narcissist, they're, if they go, you're crazy, boom, you're home. You've made it. You've successfully, shaken up the pattern. You're no longer under their control, and it does take a lot of guts. It does take a lot of, it does take a lot of courage. But courage is what's needed in this situation for you to resolve it. You don't want to keep running away. You don't want to keep, running in place. You want to start getting some things into motion for yourself so you can get free, liberated, and emancipated, and on with your life at this point. So a pattern interrupt will be a statement, it'll be a gesture, It'll be something that's like off the wall would be another way to describe it, but not so that it like gets their attention, but just so that it disrupts the pattern. You know, would you like to still see me today? And then you just kind of, you know, look at them, and then you go, summer sunshine is great. And then you walk away. You know, you just, it's a pattern interrupt. In the sales process, I think there's a situation where they refute that one question, and you know, you shake somebody's hand. So it's a way for them to kind of dismantle or disempower the situation, disperse kind of the tension of the situation. But you're going to need to adapt and apply this to your own situation. But, you know, just some examples. If you have some specific situations that you want me to provide solutions to, you can just type them in the comment section. But for example, some hypothetical situations that might occur. You know, I would really like to stay together with you. I would like to work this out. You know, we've got kids together. We've got a house together. You know, how about we go out this weekend and just, you know, really have a discussion and work things out. And you just go, man, you know, these shoes are great. I'm so glad I got them on sale. And you just go, wow, you know, and then you just like laugh and like you just kind of walk away. Like it's like a pattern interrupt. You disrupt the pattern, and then like you stamp your feet or something. You just bring your power back to yourself. You take your power back. So you're not engaging them, their question, their thought pattern. You're breaking up that pattern. Yes, it seems extreme, but yes, it's very effective. And it's a very common technique used in neuro-linguistic programming. You can definitely research this. The psychopath and narcissist also use this on an unconscious and habitual daily level with the people who they're conning, pulling one over on. They're constantly able to do the pattern interrupt. I mean, think of on Seinfeld, the show Seinfeld, when that guy Kramer would walk in the door, and he's always got that, you know, reaction. Like he walks in the door and like he's got his hair up there and he's just like, Jerry, you know, you wouldn't believe what I saw in the lobby. Like that's a pattern interrupt, because like you see the scene where like Jerry and Elaine are sitting there like in their apartment, and then Kramer comes in and then like changes the subject, almost changes the vibe, changes the level where we were focusing. That's a pattern interrupt. That's kind of a good example. So you need to kind of get like Kramer, be like Kramer, and just do something that it seems a little bit off the wall, but not so much that it's just like I'm going crazy, but done in a very sort of smooth, non-emotional manner where you just make a comment that is not really related and you just kind of walk away, because then you can disengage from the situation. You can reduce the emotional charge and tension from it, and if you need to still work things out with them, you do it on your terms and in your manner. For example, if you're going through a divorce, you know, you start putting the decree together, things that are necessary, and you have your lawyer, you know, handle things for you. You do not need to go in the back and forth. And if you're trying to get a lot out of the relationship, don't let it take any longer than usual. If you have stuff with them, I mean, just get out what you need. You can always create more stuff. What really matters is your freedom and your sanctity and your happiness right now. And chances are, you don't even need half the things that you had in the life with this psychopath or this narcissist. You don't need that group of friends. You don't need the house. You don't need the Christmas tree. You don't need the antique lamp. You know, you don't need the antique sewing table. I mean, you just don't need these things. You really don't need anything that represents an attachment between the two of you. You need to actually kind of move out. In fact, it's very sad. People who have, you know, stayed with I did know someone who stayed with a psychopath, a narcissist, for too long. They ended up cheating on them with their, they were a doctor, and they ended up cheating with their receptionist, who was like 25. He was like in his 50s, you know, cheated with his wife with 2 grown kids, beautiful kids, super intelligent, talented. She was absolutely adorable. I mean, the most magnificent woman, very smooth, charming, a great homemaker, a bonder of people, great, uplifting, enthusiastic personality. But the roller coaster just created a lot of mental illness in her. I mean, just, you know, I mean, just the things that he would do, and unbeknownst to her, you know, he was really the cause a lot of the emotional distress and the cheating, and, you know, the filling up with their relationship with all sorts of other obsessions that he had. And you know, sometimes when you're in the midst of it, you can't really put your finger on what's going on. You really don't know. Well, you know, she eventually, you know, took her own life. She was so distraught from it, and you know, it's a very sad situation. You know, she just did not have a tool for how to pick herself up, and she, you know, I think because she had stayed in the house where they had lived and had raised their family, when it would have really been best, and she did say that it really would have been best if she had just left, like sold the house, moved, got her own place, you know. But she had, I mean, it seems overwhelming, but when you really think about it, it's not. You can do it. It's just one day at a time, taking the steps and taking the plans to move. But you know, you make all sorts of excuses to yourself, you doubt yourself, you don't really know. It's a very sad situation. So the best thing you can do, don't, you know, drag things out, fight for things that you want with them. You know, I deserve this, I deserve that. You know, be willing to let some things go, and you'll be free, you'll be liberated. That's the best gift, that's the best thing you can give to yourself, is that simple life. Hope these videos help. Peace and harmony here with you here today. Please share and subscribe for people who need it, and make it a beautiful day.